Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever prayed, waited, hoped, and yet nothing seemed to move? Have you ever wondered why the door you've been knocking on stays shut while your heart aches for an answer? Let me tell you today, God's delay is not God's denial. When heaven seems silent, don't mistake it for absence. Delay is often the divine setup for something far greater than you could imagine. Sometimes God has to slow you down so that He can set you up. He knows that if you arrive too early, you won't be ready. And if the blessing comes too soon, it might destroy you instead of develop you. When you face seasons where prayers seem unanswered and doors remain closed, it is easy to believe that God has turned His back or rejected your request. The truth is that God's delay is not His denial. Delay does not mean that He has said no. It means that He is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot see. Delay is often the pause between your request and His perfect timing. What looks like silence is often preparation. God is aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities so that when the answer comes, it is not just an ordinary response, but a supernatural fulfillment that leaves no doubt it came from Him. When you choose to remind yourself that delay is not denial, you protect your heart from frustration and bitterness. Many people miss out on their breakthrough because they give up in the waiting. They confuse God's not yet with never. But faith means trusting that if God made a promise, He is faithful to keep it, even if it does not happen on your timeline. Every delay is purposeful. God is never late, but He is also never early. He arrives exactly on time, and His timing carries wisdom beyond human understanding. Delay is a refining process. It reveals the true motives of your heart. Sometimes God delays an answer because He wants you to desire the giver more than the gift. If you only want what He can do for you, then your faith is shallow. But when you continue to trust Him even in silence, you grow deeper in relationship with Him. Delay tests whether you are committed to God or just committed to getting what you want from Him. This process strengthens your spiritual foundation so that when the blessing finally comes, it does not replace Him in your heart. Delay also positions you for protection. You might think you are ready for an opportunity, a relationship, or a promotion, but God sees dangers you cannot. He knows the traps the enemy has set ahead of you. By delaying certain things, He shields you from walking into harm. What feels like rejection may actually be divine protection. Looking back, many people can see that if God had given them what they asked for when they asked for it, they would not have been ready to handle it. The delay was grace, not punishment. When you choose to believe that delay is not denial, you begin to live with hope instead of despair. Hope is the anchor that holds you steady in uncertain waters. It keeps you moving forward, trusting that the waiting will end with something greater than you imagined. Hope keeps your prayers alive and your spirit expectant. Instead of asking, why hasn't it happened yet? You begin to say, I can't wait to see what God is going to do. This mindset shift transforms waiting from a burden into a season of anticipation. Every delay has an appointed end. Just as winter eventually gives way to spring, so too will your season of waiting give way to breakthrough. God is faithful to finish what He starts. The fact that He has delayed something means He still has His hand on your life. Denial closes doors permanently, but delay simply means the door is locked until the right moment. When that moment arrives, no power in hell can keep it shut. God's delay is a setup for His greater glory to be revealed through you. Delay is a divine setup because what feels like a pause is often God arranging circumstances for something beyond what you expect. When you face seasons where nothing seems to move forward, it is natural to think that life has stalled or opportunities have slipped away. Yet, in the unseen realm, God is aligning details, preparing resources, and shaping your character so that when the appointed time comes, everything will fall into place. A divine setup means the delay is not wasted time, it is strategic time. God is never random, and every moment of waiting has intention behind it. When you choose to see delay as a setup, you begin to understand that preparation is happening both around you and within you. Around you, God may be aligning people who will play a role in your breakthrough. The right connections, opportunities, and open doors often take time to build. Within you, God is molding your patience, faith, and resilience so that you will not collapse when greater responsibility is placed on your shoulders. Without this inner preparation, what you receive might overwhelm you instead of elevate you. Delay is the space where God works on you so that you will not only reach the promise, but also sustain it. A divine setup also means that God is using delay to position you in the right place at the right time. Consider how often in life the timing of events determines the outcome. Arriving too early can mean missing what you were waiting for, while arriving too late can mean losing it altogether. God's delays ensure that your arrival coincides with His plan. Just like a master conductor ensures that every instrument in an orchestra plays at the right moment, God ensures that every element of your life enters the stage in perfect harmony. The delay is the rehearsal before the performance, making sure the stage is ready for your entrance. Choosing to view delay as a divine setup also shifts your perspective from frustration to expectation. Instead of asking why something has not happened, you begin to ask what God is setting up. That shift changes how you handle waiting seasons. You no longer waste energy complaining or doubting. Instead, you cultivate hope and preparation. You get yourself ready because you trust that when God moves, it will be sudden and significant. The setup requires you to stay prepared, like a runner who stays stretched and focused at the starting line, knowing the signal could come at any moment. Delay is also a divine setup because it creates space for the miraculous. If everything happened according to your timetable, you might assume it was your ability, effort, or connections that brought it to pass. But when delay stretches longer than expected and the breakthrough still comes, it becomes clear that only God could have orchestrated it. Delay magnifies His power and glory because the outcome is so extraordinary that you know it was not just coincidence. The setup ensures that when the curtain rises, all eyes are directed to the one who arranged the scene. When you accept that delay is a setup, you live with peace instead of anxiety. You stop rushing ahead of God and instead align yourself with His process. Each day of waiting becomes part of the greater design. You recognize that what looks like stagnation is really orchestration. Delay is the hand of God quietly writing the script of your destiny, ensuring that when the moment comes, it will not only be right, it will be greater than you imagine. Waiting builds character because it develops qualities in you that cannot be formed in comfort or speed. When life slows down and your desires are not immediately fulfilled, the delay forces you to confront impatience, pride, and self-dependence. It teaches humility because you realize that not everything comes by your timing or strength. It teaches patience because you must learn to trust a process you cannot control. It teaches resilience because you must keep moving forward even when progress feels invisible. Character is not shaped in moments of instant gratification. It is forged in the tension of waiting. When you choose to see waiting as a tool for building character, you begin to value the hidden work happening inside you more than the visible results you are chasing. Waiting creates depth. It strips away the shallow desire for quick success and replaces it with endurance. Endurance is what allows you to keep standing when others collapse. Without waiting, endurance cannot grow. Every season of delay stretches your capacity to handle more responsibility, more blessing, and more opposition. A tree with shallow roots falls easily in a storm, but one that has spent years waiting and growing strong underground can withstand the fiercest winds. In the same way, your unseen growth in waiting seasons secures your stability for the future. Waiting also builds discipline. It teaches you to manage your emotions instead of being controlled by them. In moments of delay, frustration and doubt will knock at your door, but discipline reminds you to respond with faith and consistency. You learn to keep praying, keep working, and keep believing even when the results are not immediate. This discipline becomes a lifestyle, shaping you into someone who is steady instead of reactive. Character means being the same in private as you are in public, and waiting refines that integrity. Another layer of character formed in waiting is gratitude. When you finally receive what you long for after a period of delay, you appreciate it differently than if it had come instantly. You value the journey, you honor the lessons, and you do not take the blessing for granted. Gratitude becomes part of your character because you remember the cost of waiting. Gratitude prevents entitlement and cultivates humility, making you someone who treasures every gift instead of demanding more. Waiting also teaches trust. It forces you to put your confidence not in outcomes, but in the one who holds the outcomes. Trust grows when you surrender your control and rest in God's timing. This trust becomes a cornerstone of character because it keeps you grounded when uncertainty surrounds you. It teaches you to walk by faith, not by sight. Without waiting, faith remains shallow. With waiting, faith deepens into unshakable confidence. When you recognize that waiting builds character, you stop seeing delay as wasted time. You start to see it as the classroom where patience, endurance, discipline, gratitude, and trust are taught. Each lesson makes you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what is ahead. Character is not built overnight. It is shaped in the long, sometimes painful seasons of waiting. And the stronger the character within you, the greater your ability to handle the blessings, responsibilities, and challenges that life will bring. Preparation is hidden, but necessary because what takes place in the unseen determines the strength and stability of what will eventually be seen. Just as a building requires a foundation dug deep into the ground before any visible structure can rise, your life requires preparation in the hidden places before your destiny can unfold. The foundation is not glamorous. Few notice it, and even fewer celebrate it, but without it, the entire building collapses. In the same way, the hidden seasons of preparation are vital to ensure you can withstand the weight of the blessings and responsibilities you are praying for. When you choose to embrace preparation, you begin to understand that growth often happens in silence and obscurity. Seeds grow in the dark soil before they ever break through the surface. Muscles are strengthened through the unseen resistance of weight training before they are visibly toned. The same principle applies to your character, skills, and faith. What you cultivate in private shapes who you become in public. Preparation equips you with the discipline, wisdom, and endurance necessary to carry what is coming. Without it, the gift may arrive, but you will not be able to sustain it. Hidden preparation is also where God shapes your motives and intentions. Sometimes you think you are ready for a blessing, but beneath the surface your motives are mixed with pride, selfishness, or fear. Through hidden preparation, these impurities are exposed and refined. The waiting season becomes a furnace where God purifies your heart so that when promotion arrives, it does not corrupt you. This refining process may feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary to protect both you and the purpose you will step into. Preparation is hidden because it is not meant for applause or validation. It is the time where consistency is built without the need for recognition. Learning to be faithful when no one is watching is the key to being trustworthy when everyone is watching. The private disciplines of prayer, study, service, and integrity form the backbone of public influence. Many want the spotlight without the sacrifice, but it is the hidden seasons that determine whether the spotlight will strengthen you or destroy you. Another reason preparation is hidden is because it requires patience. Quick results rarely last, but slow preparation builds permanence. Just as fine wine takes years to mature and steel requires intense fire to gain its strength, so too your preparation requires time and pressure. The delay is not punishment, but a process of making you durable. It ensures that when opportunities come, you will not just step into them, you will last in them. When you understand that preparation is hidden but necessary, you stop resenting the seasons where progress seems invisible. Instead, you embrace them as the training ground for your destiny. You realize that what feels like obscurity is actually God's classroom. Every hidden prayer, every unseen act of faithfulness, every moment of perseverance is building something within you that will one day be revealed. And when the time comes, the preparation that no one saw will become the strength that everyone admires. Hidden preparation is not wasted. It is the unseen investment that ensures your future can stand strong. God withholds the good to give the best, because what you may see as enough in the present is often less than what He has planned for your future. Many times, people settle for opportunities, relationships, or paths that appear good on the surface. But God, in His wisdom, knows they are not aligned with the fullness of His plan. What looks like a loss or a mischance is often divine protection, keeping you from being trapped in something that would limit your growth. By withholding the good, God is not punishing you. He is preserving you for what is far greater. When you choose to trust this principle, you begin to understand that God's perspective is higher than yours. You see only a small piece of the puzzle, but He sees the entire picture. What you call disappointment, He calls redirection. The job that slipped away, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that vanished. Each may have been good, but not God's best. The best is not simply about comfort or success. It is about alignment with His purpose for your life. By removing the good, He ensures that when the best arrives, it fits perfectly into the destiny He designed for you. God withholds the good to give the best, because the best requires maturity and preparation. Often, you may desire something you are not yet ready to handle. A promotion before preparation can lead to failure. A relationship before healing can lead to brokenness. A blessing before discipline can lead to waste. The waiting period where the good is withheld becomes the training ground where your faith, character, and endurance are developed. When the best finally comes, you will be ready to receive it, protect it, and maximize it. Another dimension of this truth is that the best always reflects God's glory, not just human satisfaction. If you could achieve everything by your own timing and strength, you might be tempted to give yourself the credit. But when God withholds the good and later replaces it with the best, there is no doubt that it was His hand that orchestrated the blessing. This delay magnifies His power, ensuring that your testimony points people to Him. The best carries a weight of purpose that the good never could. Learning to trust that God withholds the good also protects you from the trap of comparison. It is easy to look at others who seem to have what you desire and believe you are being overlooked. But what they carry may be good for them, not best for you. Comparison blinds you to the unique journey God has set before you. When you choose to focus on His timing, you realize that the withholding is not rejection, but customization. God's best for your life cannot be compared to anyone else's because it is designed specifically for you. God withholds the good to give the best because His love is too great to let you settle. He knows that temporary satisfaction can lead to long-term regret. He knows that lesser blessings can distract you from your true calling. By withholding what you think you want, He creates space for what you truly need. And when that best finally arrives, you will not only see why the good had to be withheld, you will also realize that the wait was worth it. What seemed like a loss becomes evidence of His wisdom, His protection, and His desire to give you nothing less than His very best. Delay leads to destiny because the seasons that feel like pauses are often the very paths that guide you into the purpose you were created for. What seems like wasted time is often divine timing, shaping you for what lies ahead. Every setback, every closed door, every extended wait becomes a step in the journey that prepares you to fully embrace your calling. Without the delay, you might rush into something too soon and miss the greater purpose. With the delay, you are directed, molded, and strengthened for the destiny designed uniquely for you. When you choose to see delay as a bridge to destiny, you recognize that God does not waste any moment. The waiting seasons become classrooms where lessons are taught that you will need later. Patience is learned when nothing happens quickly. Resilience is built when you keep moving forward despite obstacles. Wisdom is gained when you reflect on the reasons behind the delay. Each of these qualities becomes part of the foundation needed for your destiny. Without them, you would not be able to handle the weight of what God intends to place in your hands. Delay leads to destiny because it aligns you with the right timing. A blessing at the wrong time can become a burden. A promotion before you are ready can crush you. A relationship before you are healed can break you. The delay ensures that you arrive not just at the right place, but at the right moment. Timing matters because destiny is not only about where you end up, but also about when you step into it. The pause is protection, making sure that when doors open, you are prepared to walk through them without fear or failure. Delay is also a tool of redirection. Sometimes you pursue paths that seem promising, but God knows they do not lead to your ultimate purpose. By delaying progress, He nudges you back toward the road that will take you to destiny. What feels like stagnation is often God steering you away from lesser plans. Many people can look back and realize that if the delay had not happened, they would have remained in the wrong place with the wrong people, far from their true calling. The delay became the turning point that guided them toward destiny. Another reason delay leads to destiny is because it shapes your testimony. When you walk through seasons of waiting and finally see the fulfillment, your story carries power. You can speak to others with authority because you have lived through the tension of waiting and witnessed the faithfulness of God. That testimony becomes part of your destiny, enabling you to inspire, encourage, and lead others. Without the delay, your story might lack depth, but with it, your destiny carries influence. Delay also ensures that when destiny unfolds, you are not only ready, but also grateful. The waiting creates appreciation. You value what you receive because you understand the cost of patience. Gratitude becomes part of your character, keeping you humble as you step into greater opportunities. Destiny is not just about reaching a position or achieving a goal. It is about being shaped into the kind of person who can carry it with integrity. The delay ensures that your destiny is not just achieved, but sustained. Delay leads to destiny because it is not an obstacle, but an instrument. Every moment of waiting, every season of silence, and every pause is a divine preparation for the life you were meant to live. Instead of seeing delay as wasted time, you see it as the pathway guiding you to the exact place where your destiny begins to unfold.